Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Saul Niguez is set to complete an imminent transfer to Manchester United. According to reports in Spain, Manchester United have won the race for Saul Niguez. Niguez is on the verge of leaving Atletico Madrid. Now Man United will bring Niguez in on an initial loan. Man United will pay a small loan fee and will pay the midfielder's full wages for the entire season. The loan will include an option to buy or maybe even an obligation to buy. Chelsea are also interested in bringing Saul Niguez in on loan. Now, before the start of the season, it's said that Man United had made contact with the agents of Saul Niguez, and it's said that the agents of Saul Niguez were due in England for talks with Man United and Liverpool, because at that time Man United and Liverpool were battling it out for him. We identified Saul Niguez as a potential replacement for Pogba. Niguez has a gentleman's agreement in place with Atletico Madrid that will allow him to leave. Niguez has a £128 million release clause. He's got a contract with Atletico Madrid until 2026 because back in 2017 he signed a 9-year contract. He's been a long-serving player at Atletico Madrid. He's been with them for a good 13 years or so, raising up their academy. He's made over 300 appearances for Atletico Madrid in all competitions. He can be deployed as a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder. Niguez would probably cost between 40 to 50 million to buy. A couple of years ago it'd have cost a hell of a lot more than that. But Manchester United do need a midfielder before this transfer window closes. You know the news on Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes. Rennes want £30 million for Camavinga. Recently Man United had been handed an Eduardo Camavinga boost. Reports from France said that Camavinga is set to leave Rennes before the transfer window closes. Camavinga has made Rennes supporters aware that he's played his final game at the club. PSG also want Camavinga. A few weeks ago, Eduardo Camavinga's agent, Jonathan Barnett, said that Camavinga was in no hurry to decide his future. Fabrizio Romano has spoken a lot about the Camavinga transfer saga. He said the other week that Camavinga had two options this summer, including Man United. Rennes are prepared to cash in for Camavinga rather than risk losing him on a free next year. Man United are also in for Ruben Neves from Wolves. Like updated you this morning, Man United are eyeing a cut price deal for Ruben Neves, but Man United are unwilling to pay the 40 million valuation for Neves. Bruno Lage wants to keep Ruben Neves but says every player has a price. But Man United are still interested in him. Earlier on in the summer, Ruben Neves hinted that he'd made a decision on his future and he called any talks of a transfer away. And he said he's very happy at Wolves, and he revealed his excitement of working alongside Bruno Lage. And earlier on in the summer, it said Man United were leading Arsenal in the race to sign Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves has made 178 appearances for Wolves. He's scored 20 goals. He's got a contract with Wolves until 2024. Wolves paid 15.8 million for him from Porto back in 2017. Wolves know how much of an imperative player that Ruben Neves is, because last year they lost Diego Jota to Liverpool and Wolves have really struggled without him. They also lost Matt Doherty to Tottenham. Man United are also still in for Declan Rice from West Ham. Man United make a Declan Rice swap deal proposal to West Ham for Jesse Lingard. Declan Rice has rejected 3 contract offers at West Ham. Declan Rice is unhappy with West Ham's 100 million price tag. He's planning to run down his contract. Rice has 3 years left on his contract at West Ham. Declan Rice has been at West Ham for a good 7 years or so he's been a long-serving player. Declan Rice breaks up the play well. He's predominantly a holding midfielder, but he can also be deployed as a centre-half. Before West Ham he was at Chelsea, he was in their youth setup for several years, but he actually never got in Chelsea's first team. Rice is still young, he's got a lot of development in him. Manchester United need to sell to buy. We have not sold one single player in this summer transfer window. We've loaned quite a few players out. We recently loaned Brandon Williams out to Norwich. We loaned Andres Pereira out to Flamengo. We loaned Ethan Laird out to Swansea. We loaned Axel Tuanzebe out to Aston Villa. We loaned Facundo Pellistri out, was it to Alaves? We loaned to Heath Chong out to Birmingham. So there you go. Fabrizio Romano recently said that Ahmed Diop is expected to leave Man United on loan. He mentioned that Crystal Palace have asked for him. And Sheffield United has asked for him, but he's only interested in Premier League clubs. Atlanta want to re-sign Ahmed Diop on loan. Solskjaer said prior to the Southampton game that he expects Ahmed Diop to stay at Man United this season. Solskjaer mentioned he was impressed with him in training. We got Ahmed Diop in a deal worth £37 million. We paid £19 million up front and we got him from Atlanta, and he's got a contract with Man United until 2025. And James Garner, Solskjaer confirmed before the Southampton game, it looks like he's going to be going out on loan. The transfer window closes in a week. He said not so long ago that Man United are unlikely to make any more signings before the transfer window closes. But Solskjaer did confirm that he wants Man United to make one more signing in this summer transfer window. We have made 3 signings so far. We brought Tom Eaton in on a free from Aston Villa. We brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund, and we brought Rafael Varane in from Real Madrid. So we have spent around £113 million in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer did mention that he has been pleased with our summer transfer business. Before the start of the season, Solskjaer spoke out on Man United's transfer plans. He did say any more signings would be a bonus for Man United. But I think we've enjoyed a good summer transfer window. It'll be fantastic if we can get that midfielder on the board. And Solskjaer has received the backing he deserves. Surprisingly, our owners have backed him only because they've been persuaded to. Woodward stood by him. Woodward said several times before that he'd back Solskjaer. John Murtough, he's played a part in getting Solskjaer the players he wanted in. John Murtough is our director of football, and Man United definitely made the right decision getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes that we needed at the club. And plus, Darren Fletcher's part of the club, and so too is Matt Judge. This summer transfer window has been Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. I've already gone through with you the players that should leave Man United. I think we should definitely offload Phil Jones. But it won't be happening this time round. Phil Jones is staying at Man United this season after Solskjaer tells him he remains part of his plans. Jones made his comeback from injury in that behind closed doors game against Burnley. Jones was out with a knee injury for a while. He sustained the knee injury in the FA Cup game against Tranmere. Was it last season? Jones has been a long-serving player at Man United. He's enjoyed 10 years at the club. He's the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era. We got Jones from Blackburn in a deal worth, £16.5 million. I think we also need to offload Diego Dalot. Well, it said a few weeks ago it looks very likely that Dalot is going to be staying at Man United. He was impressive throughout pre-season. Last season Dalot was out on loan with AC Milan. We brought Dalot in under the Jose Mourinho era. Brought him in from Porto. I also want us to offload Jesse Lingard. West Ham and Everton have been in for Jesse Lingard. West Ham's first team coach Stuart Pearce said not so long ago that West Ham want to sign Jesse Lingard, and he mentioned he's a special lad. West Ham did receive a huge boost in their pursuit of Lingard, because it said Man United dropped their asking price for Lingard to 20 million. Initially we was demanding 30 million. Fabrizio Romano mentioned that West Ham were going to submit another bid. Last season Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Not so long ago Solskjaer confirmed Lingard remains part of his plans for this season despite the ongoing speculation. Lingard came on against Southampton recently. He played and scored in the behind closed doors game against Burnley, but he was omitted from the squad in the opening game against Leeds. Lingard did well throughout pre-season. Lingard's been part of the club for a long time, risen up our academy. At Man United he's won the FA Cup, the Charity Shield, the Europa League and the EFL Cup, and he's scored in some of them finals. He's had quite a few loan spells with Leicester, Birmingham, Brighton, Derby and West Ham. I also want us to offload NemanjaMatic because he isn't good enough to represent the club. I've got my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a static player. Too predictable, and he's been inconsistent in a lot of his games at Man United. But Matic won't be leaving this season. Matic will probably leave next year. Matic has been at Man United for like 4 years. Got him for 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. I think we also need to offload Fred. He isn't good enough to represent the club. Fred was abysmal against Southampton recently. His positioning was poor. He looked poor on and off the ball. Kept giving the ball away, and obviously Southampton's first goal was an own goal from Fred. Chi Adams struck it and it got deflected off Fred. Fred's had his good games at Man United, but we overpaid for him. We got him in a deal worth 52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Martial, we need to offload him, but won't happen in this summer transfer window. The Telegraph said before the start of the season that Man United have got no intentions of selling Martial as he remains part of Solskjaer's plans for this season. But it said just before that Man United were ready to sell Anthony Martial, and we was demanding at least £50 million. It mentioned that Inter Milan were interested in him. Inter Milan wanted him to replace Lukaku because Lukaku went back to Chelsea. He said would have been happy to loan Anthony Martial out as long as Inter Milan agreed to include an obligation to buy in the deal. Martial has got 3 years left on his contract at Man United and he receives £200,000 a week. He's been with us 6 years. He's scored 78 goals in all competitions. Got Martial in a deal worth 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. Last season he was out with a knee injury for a while. He's had 2 good seasons at Man United. He was good in his debut season under Van Gaal and he was good the season before last. Martial was abysmal against Southampton. Like I updated you this morning, Man United are ready to let go of Van der Beek and Lindelof to make way for more signings. There's a good chance Van der Beek will leave anyway if he doesn't get game time. Last season Van der Beek made 36 appearances for Man United. Most of them appearances came from the bench. Van der Beek started just 4 games in the league last season. And I said if he doesn't get enough starts this season we need to offload him. This is Van der Beek's 2nd full season at Man United. I haven't really had much of a perception on him at Man United, but in general he is a good player. He was very good at Ajax. We got Van der Beek for £40 million, with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. And he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. And yeah, Victor Lindelof, we definitely need to offload him. I've got my strong reservations about him. He was not great against Southampton. Average performance. Did well in the opening game against Leeds. We got Lindelof for 31 million from Benfica back in 2017. Now, like I said, this season is massive for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's aware of that. Solskjaer has got big expectations to exceed, and a lot of United fans reckon that the expectations are far too high for him. So far, we have registered 4 points from our first 2 games. You know, beaten Leeds on the opening day 5-1, and drew with Southampton recently 1-1. And there's already Man United fans wanting Solskjaer out. Solskjaer's ambition for this season is to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. Before the start of the season, Solskjaer talked up Man United's title hopes. He said he knew the pressure was on, and he made an admission saying that Man City are the favourites, but the title race is open. Solskjaer has not yet won a trophy as Manchester United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, which is 4 years ago now. Solskjaer has to win a trophy this season to basically save his job. This is Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager. He has now managed 153 games as Man United manager. I certainly think we made a mistake giving Solskjaer that new 3-year contract before the start of the season, because he won't see out this new contract. Solskjaer has been in charge of Manchester United now for almost 3 years. The reason he is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend. That's what's basically saved his job. Disregarding being a club legend, I don't think he'd have been here now. But my 2 biggest concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and his decision making is another one of my big concerns, because analysing the vast majority of the games he's managed at Man United, he's been tactically naive. But there's been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility. But he's got to show tactical flexibility persistently, you know. There was questions Solskjaer should have answered. Why didn't he start Varane and Sancho against Southampton? He should have certainly started Sancho, and a lot of Man United fans criticised him for that. But in the opening day against Leeds, he got it right. He did. You know, these positives regarding Ole. Not all negativity regarding Ole, you know. You can see progress has been made under Solskjaer. You know, Solskjaer has got us to semi-finals. You know, last season got us to the Europa League final. That was his first major final as Man United manager. And last season he got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. Reflecting on that draw against Southampton, we equalled Arsenal's record. We are still unbeaten away from home in the Premier League since January 2020. Last season, Solskjaer got us a 2nd place finish, but you don't get anything for finishing 2nd. And last season, Solskjaer did accept it wasn't a successful season. And in Solskjaer's 1st full season, he got us a 3rd place finish. Solskjaer has made good signings as Manchester United manager. He's signed 13 players so far, and he's spent just over £400 million in total. Ollie's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in, which he knew he had to do. You know, he's loaned quite a lot of players out. Some of them players that were out on loan have now come back, and some have gone back out on loan, and he's let quite a lot of players go permanently. Solskjaer has more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players, which he knew he had to do when he came in. He sure he would do it when he got appointed in, and I like the way Solskjaer develops the youth. So these positives. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. The reason we gave him the job permanently back in March 2019 was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. But Solskjaer is our best manager since Ferguson. He's our fourth permanent manager since Ferguson. Since Ferguson we sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. We must have brought a good 42, 43 players in since Ferguson left, and we must have spent £1 billion, or is it over £1 billion? Mistakes have been made in the last 7.5, 8 years or so. That's why we've been nowhere near as consistent as we'd like to have been. By the way, Solskjaer recently said he wants new contracts for Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire. To be fair, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Ollie came in. Obviously, you know the news on Paul Pogba. Before the game against Southampton, Solskjaer said that talks are ongoing with Pogba's representatives to persuade Pogba to sign a new contract at Man United. Solskjaer is not worried about Pogba's contract situation. Well, Man United give an update on Pogba's future, and Solskjaer expects Pogba to still be a United player when the transfer window closes at the end of this month. The Athletic recently said that Man United is set to make Pogba the highest paid player at the club with a new 5-year contract worth £400,000 a week. Pogba receives $290,000 a week on his current contract at the moment. Pogba's current contract expires next summer. Pogba is set to not sign a new deal this year, but Pogba has refused to rule out a new deal. Sky Sports said not so long ago that Pogba is very likely to leave Man United on a free next summer when his contract expires, and it said he's set to join PSG on a free. It did mention not so long ago that PSG are pushing to sign him next summer and are prepared to offer Pogba £510,000 a week in wages to prize him away from Man United. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.